the difference quotient. So our objective here, we want to find and simplify a function's difference quotient. Well, what is the difference quotient? It is the average rate of change of a function. Basically, it's the result of this expression, f of x plus h minus f of x, all divided by h, whenever h is not 0, because of course we can't divide by 0, and that's what's called the difference quotient of the function f. Okay, so the difference quotient is the result of this. When we do this math, the result is called the difference quotient. All right, how do we find this difference quotient? Well, we first need to find f of x plus h. So we're going to put in an input. This is an input, and we've dealt with this in previous videos. We're going to put this input into the function and get the result. And then we're going to set up this expression, and we're going to simplify it. We're then going to simplify the difference quotient expression, which is this right here. Okay? It does take a little bit of patience. You need to be careful because there are lots of opportunities for mistakes, but take your time and you'll be just fine. So, we'll do one example. Our function is 2x squared minus x plus 3, and we want to find the difference quotient. We want to find the result of this right here. So first, let's find the value of the function when we input x plus h. So first, I'm going to write a little bit smaller, a little tighter. I have over half a page, but I'm going to use most of that. Okay, so we know that f of input equals 2 times the input, and then we're going to square that, minus the input plus 3. Okay, we learned this with our functions. Our input is going to be x plus h. So everywhere we see input, we'll replace that with the expression x plus h. So 2 times x plus h squared minus, be careful with the parentheses here, because we're going to use x plus h, and this minus will distribute, plus 3. Now let's simplify this. Well, first things first, x plus h squared is x plus h times x plus h. So I'm going to write that out so I can do the multiplication easier. I can distribute this negative, minus x minus h, and then I'll add 3. Now let's do this multiplication, and we'll finish off with what is f of x plus h. Well, this is going to be 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared. When I multiply this, I get this. And then minus x minus h plus 3. Okay? That was the first thing to do. There are no like terms. There's no combining like terms here. X squared term, xh term, h squared term, x term, h term, constant term. So that's it. F of x plus h is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 term thing. Okay? So now, step 2. We need to go up here and simplify the difference quotient. Okay, well, the difference quotient is f of x plus h, well, that's right here, minus f of x, well, that's right here, all that divided by h. I'm going to use parentheses to make it a bit clearer for you. What is f of x plus h? It's this. So 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared minus x minus h plus 3. This is f of x plus h, right there, this whole piece, minus, And use parentheses when you subtract so you don't lose track of that minus that's going to distribute. F of x, well, f of x is right here. It's minus 2x squared minus x plus 3. And this is f of x. So f of x plus h minus f of x, all that divided by h. That's a big mess, or it looks like a big mess. That's a lot of terms, a lot of letters, some numbers, some minuses, some pluses, a lot going on there. You've got to have it all written out clearly so that you can then simplify it. Let's start simplifying. Okay, I'm first going to rewrite this without the parentheses. I don't need these parentheses. I just did that to show you how it looks. So 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared minus x minus h plus 3. And now I'm going to distribute this negative. Minus 2x squared plus x to subtract a negative minus 3, all of that divided by h. Now I can begin simplifying. 2x squared minus 2x squared. Well, thank you, that's 0. Minus x plus x. Well, thank you, that's also 0. Plus 3 minus 3. Well, thank you, that's also 0. So I can get rid of a lot of that stuff right there, and I'm left with 4xh, the term right here, plus 2h squared, this term, minus h. That's all that's left in the numerator, and I'm going to divide this all by h. Now let's recognize this is a common denominator. It applies to all three terms in the numerator. So let's split that so we can see it. This is the same. I'm going to apply this h to all three. So 4xh over h plus 2h squared over h. Whoops, that's a minus, not a plus. Minus h over h. A common denominator applies to all terms in the numerator. Now I can simplify. This h and that h will cancel. They're a common factor, and I'll be left with 4x. This h and one of these two h's will be a common factor, plus 2h. And this h and this h are common factors, minus 1. And this is called the difference quotient. The difference quotient of, well, I'll just call it the difference quotient. It is the, well, no, I'll continue that. Now that I'm rethinking on the fly here, this is the difference quotient of f of x equals 2x squared minus x plus 3. This is called the difference quotient of this function, 4x plus 2h minus 1. When does it come into play? Calculus. Calculus will base a whole lot of what they do on finding the difference quotient. And so it's important to know it. And there's a lot of good algebraic math going on here. Notice I really took my time. It's important to write down all these steps so you don't lose track of yourself.